Welcome back to another episode of JCIT BTV. Now let's get into it. I'm pretty sure everyone has been hearing about the trending news about the port worker strikes, the shipping containers, child trafficking, kidnappings, and the Diddy scandal. In this episode, I want to show you how they all relate to one another. It's deeper and more satanic than you think. Let's go over all the evidence in this video, piece by piece, and make the connection.
Staff here at the port became aware of screaming and banging coming from a container from that particular ship.
Pounding and beating on the walls of that trailer, trying to get out.
And if you can imagine the heat, no air conditioning.
Can we just think for a moment of what it must have been like for those 39 people, obviously in a desperate and dangerous situation, for their lives to end, suffocated to death in a container?
I found the trailers with a body outside and several that they could visibly see inside once the doors were opened.
35 patients were found in the container when we first arrived.
You don't end up with 35 people in a container for no reason.
Gruesome discovery. Police say they found 39 bodies inside a container truck.
The court's paperwork is giving us a better idea of what exactly happened in those shipping containers.
We hope that those responsible for putting these people in such humane conditions are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
And so we sent the truck out to pick up the container.
I rolled out there and took the box up and started pulling it up. And it was so heavy, it's just it broke the winch. And we couldn't get it off the trailer, so we had to leave it on the trailer because it was too heavy. So I was asked by Nick to have a crew go down and unload the container at the other yard.
I got a radio call that from Ron Gillette, the foreman. They said the men were throwing up and there was something really wrong.
One of them fell down and hit me right in front of my feet. And it was opened up, and there it was. And when I came to work the following day, I saw it myself. I couldn't believe it. And just little bitty babies, just all torn pieces. My heads chopped off, arms, legs, it makes you want to cry when you see something like that.
Starting at the very front of this container, it was just wall clear to the ceiling, clear to the sides, filled with.
I really don't want to witness it again. Not what I saw.
Well, as the supervisor for the County of Los Angeles, we found out through the media that 17,000 infants had been stored in a container.
You testified a moment ago to Senator Butler that every child gets a Know Your Rights presentation. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Is that before or after you release them to labor traffickers?
We also have another major issue going on in our ports right now, and I just wanted to speak on it because I don't think a lot of people understand why they're striking. One of the major reasons I've been seeing coming out of videos and reports from people talking about it is that they get tired of hearing children screaming inside the containers. Yeah, you heard that right. The workers are striking, and one of the main reasons is they're tired of hearing humans being shipped over and screaming and banging on the inside of the shipping containers to get out. I understand we have a serious human trafficking issue in this country. I just did not think it was this bad. Never once did it cross my mind we need to be checking shipping containers for people. Can you imagine how long somebody's been inside of one of those, depending on how long they were waiting to dock? No heat, no air, nothing. I pray for the workers of the ports because I don't think they signed up to deal with people.
Now, if there's any authenticity to what this gentleman says, as far as workers going on strike because they're tired of hearing children screaming out of these containers, then why aren't these workers coming out publicly and saying this? All we kept hearing from the representatives is that they aren't getting paid enough money. So according to them, that's why they're striking. Is the money situation a cover-up, or is that a reach? If they really are tired of hearing children screaming out of the containers, that should be important enough to let the public know in front of the cameras, like the other workers did a little while ago in this video. Now, although that video looked like it was done in the 80s, they were telling their testimonies about what they witnessed. By hearing their testimonies, it shouldn't seem so far-fetched to think that these port workers today are witnessing similar things. Something's not adding up. And you know how the saying goes, ain't nothing new under the sun. Now let's move on and talk about Diddy.
Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, sued, you're talking about the lawsuit, sued Combs in November of 23, allegations about sex trafficking. She's now put out a statement through her lawyer reacting to this, what we're watching happening live. We will always support law enforcement when it seeks to prosecute those that have violated the law. Hopefully this is the beginning of a process that will hold Mr. Combs responsible for his depraved conduct. I'm just thinking about Jeffrey Epstein. Didn't that start with civil suits?
Diddy's private island, shipping container island right across the way. Diddy's island with all of his friends, just a short drive away from a very huge island platform full of shipping containers, and you have to go right next to the Coast Guard. We all know what's been sealed and talked about. What are the odds that this man lives on this island just a short walk away from this entire platform of shipping containers? Come on, what do Diddy and shipping containers have in common? Did anybody else know this? This right here kind of blows my mind, because if I was some star, the last place I'd go put my island is anywhere close to anything like that. So why in the world are these two so close to each other? And what do these and this have in common? And the fact that you have to go right past the U.S. Coast Guard, that's pretty ballsy. But hey, Diddy's island that just got raided is a short boat ride away from a whole bunch of shipping containers. Do you see the connection?
Quick side note, don't you find it ironic that in Kendrick Lamar's music video for They Not Like Us, which is a diss track towards Drake, who he consistently calls a pedophile, has scenes where they're dancing around a bunch of shipping containers? They know using shipping containers to traffic children are a thing. It's not just a coincidence. Last but not least, I'm going to leave you with a video of a woman named Allison Carter, who was a trafficker survivor who was groomed at Diddy's party. She exposes what goes on in there, and she name drops a lot of celebrities who are all a part of this. Let's hear what she has to say.
Diddy parties. Those are assault parties. And I was one of the kids that was one of the party favors. And a party favors means that you're set on top of a table and you're used as a toy for anybody who comes across the table or who wants to party at a certain time of night when the music stops and then the DJ starts flashing all these lights and they close the doors, and then everybody turns into like a frenzy and starts going into a crazed animal-like demonic state, and you have no idea what's going on. My name is Allison Leilani Carter. In 2021, we did a live interview with Maria Z. We went viral in 2020. Today is September 23rd, 2024. I went into foster care at 13, 14. We tried to do a case against Riverside County Child Protective Services because Riverside County, do you hear me? Riverside County Child Protective Services was involved in my trafficking. I never thought that we would see the day where Diddy would get arrested, and I told you guys in that Maria Z interview in 2021 that no one tells on Diddy. P. Diddy. Alright? Just the same way nobody tells on Denzel Washington. People don't usually talk and stop and think about the children victims that are going through things right now as we speak. We've tried to tell you everything that we can, and now we have people messaging us, investigators, people that want to talk now, when now it's because it's trending. We're still not on the subject of the kids. All the adults are covering their asses. All the adults are, I left at a certain time, yet you knew children were there. You knew these parties were not okay. They weren't freak-offs. They were satanic ritual orgies. It wasn't just adults in these parties. The adults were responsible for the child sex slaves that were in the party. And one of those children were me. Now, those who are trying to come at us now, talking like, oh, well, now the Diddy's out, now that you can talk. For why? Because we tried to have a case with Child Protective Services. We gave them 8 months worth of evidence. 8 months worth of evidence. That didn't even do a crumb. They took that case and they hid it. If you are a survivor and if you are a real victim, be careful. Because these hotline numbers that they're putting out, I don't trust them. I wouldn't do it.
They take your information to see what you have.
They're taking inventory.
And then they shut it down. They're taking inventory. So don't trust them. Don't trust the feds. Don't trust the judges. You're all guilty. You're all corrupt. Any attorney that's taking money to defend Diddy, you're nasty and vile.
That's blood money.
That's blood money.
That's all blood money. You do know that, right? Whether you take money for him to shut up, whether you take money from him for period, that's blood money. I don't want anybody's money. You see all the people running? They're ducking and hiding because everybody knows that there is children there. But we're still not talking about the kids yet. When are we going to talk about the kids? Everybody's demanding something from the victims. Why aren't you demanding it from the news? You know he's about to turn into another Epstein, and then the list follows and it circles back into a web. So why isn't anybody demanding any information on the kids? Huh?
Where'd that supply chain come from?
Do you think that thousands of bottles worth of baby oil was for thousands of who?
There was something in that other than baby oil. If I would give it a wild guess, it was probably that GHB. It's gamma hydroxybutyric. What is its effect on the body? It's a euphoria, drowsiness, decreased anxiety, and memory impairment. It works on the nervous system and gives you this feeling of euphoria. So they take that and rub it on her, and you forget who you are, what you're doing. It can also give you memory loss, drowsiness.
$65,000 worth of hot dogs and pizza was for who?
Someone on Twitter, whose name remains unverified but has several thousand followers, posted that new emails found on Anthony Weiner's computer confirmed that Hillary Clinton was involved in a pedophilia ring. The rumor spread, inspiring some newfound internet sleuths to start digging around in John Podesta's hacked emails, searching for proof and location of the so-called sex ring.
In those emails, they are absolutely littered with code words. And many of these code words are food words, such as pizza.
Somebody said to me, "Hey, Dave, search for pizza in Podesta's emails. And once you go down that rabbit hole, you never really emerge the same person."
It was obvious from the get-go that these words were code words for something else because the context that they were used in did not make sense.
To be clear, not one single email in the Podesta emails discusses child sex trafficking or pedophilia. That is a fact. But there are dozens of what seem to be strangely worded emails dealing with pizza and handkerchiefs. Investigators say that those words in the emails about pizza and the talk of handkerchiefs is code language used by pedophiles.
There is some kind of code language. They're just not talking about pizza, folks. Who phrases that? Who blocks out an hour of time to eat a slice of pizza?
There's other ones like, the realtor found a handkerchief. I think it has a map that seems pizza related. And another one is, Obama spent $65,000 flying in pizza and hot dogs from Chicago. Are we using the same channels?
Pizza is a well-known pedophile code word that actually has been used by law enforcement to arrest online sexual predators of children.
How old are you, son? 10. You're in the double digits world? It's like really important. Pizza parties with pop stars often? No. Okay.
Her parties are incredible at her house, too.
Yeah, she does have good parties, and she makes good pizza as well.
She makes great pizza, yes.
Wonderful pizza.
We've had pizza, girl after my own heart. Do we love a pizza or what? We love a pizza. It's so much fun.
That I will order pizza, and so if I do, I don't want it to go to waste. Who will eat pizza if I... Jennifer? Yes? Harrison? Julia wants cheese. Who's your favorite movie star? They're here. Well, who do you want to talk to?
And then passing a very famous hat to pay the delivery guy.
What do you have, Harvey? 200?
200.
That's a start.
Trafficking over the border was for who? Child Protective Services is your supplier. Is anybody going to talk about that? The immigrants that are coming across the border, that all those kids that they were just scooping up out of boats and out of the water, they're now coming in and they're throwing them right into the system. Aurora, Colorado, Springfield, Ohio. Where do you think all those kids are going? This ain't about an election anymore. Y'all know that, right? The election is canceled. Because everybody that you love, you don't live in the world you think you do. Everybody that you think is not guilty is about to show you who they really are. I've been screaming for years. So now, if you see me over here trying to live a normal life and tying up loose ends as justice, mind your business. We were followed the night that Diddy was arrested. I left a place that I was in, minding my own business, finally trying to stop for a second and get my life back. And you know what? I'm not even upset about that. Nobody ever thinks about the victims. Nobody. The victims' lives get turned around when the predators' lives want to just get announced. You slap them on the wrist and you bring up every source of trauma for the victim. But nobody wants to stop and think about that. We're not talking about the victims that are still going through this right now with other people who are running to cover their ass and deleting their social medias. Pink, Megan Fox, Tyra Banks, Steve Harvey. Why you running?
One of the things she brought up, which was a question I always ask myself, what about the kids? Where are the kids? Is anyone getting punished for what they're doing to the kids? Everyone seems to be exposing all these satanic situations, but no one is talking about the kids who are affected by this. Why is that? It's because all these high-level Satanists are involved in wickedness. It has to do with sacrifice and rituals. It's not a conspiracy. It's deeper than what you think. They cover up for one another, but when your time is up and you try to go against the grain like Diddy, then they will make an example of you. Believers in Christ, these situations are all things that should be added to your prayer list. Blessings on top of blessings to you all. This is JCITB TV, making the connection.